Welcome back inside the Chamber of Truth with your co-host Leak and Josh. We're back after a little 2-week hiatus. We got Kane back in the building with us.
Yeah,
It's a lot to talk about, man. Coming off of a
a
big
lot.
weekend. Today's the 23rd of February. Yesterday was the big card in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, put on by Riyadh Season, Turkey, Alalshikh and them. The last crescendo, which was Bitter BF versus Bivol Part 2, along with a bunch of other big fights that was on this card. Great event. We watched it at Pig House. The pay-per-view was only $25, 25 US dollars.
Cheapest pay-per-view I ever paid for.
Yeah, shout out to Turkey for making that thing affordable. You know what I'm saying? But I want to use that to get into our first topic. It's been a lot of mixed reviews that I've seen out there. Not about the card itself. The fights, for the most part, was good. I don't think nobody really has a problem with that. But us being in America, I'm seeing a bit of a sense of entitlement, I think it is, from the American boxing fan, feeling a way about these big cards going down outside of the U.S. And that hatred is starting to spew Turkey Alalshikh's way. There's some people out there, and I feel like it's mostly the Americans that don't feel like Turkey is good for boxing. So I want to pose that question to the panel today. Do y'all feel like Turkey Alalshikh is good or bad for the sport of boxing?
I'm gonna let Kane tackle this one first because I got a lot to say on this.
From everything that I've seen since he's been involved in the sport of boxing, I feel like Turkey's been good for boxing. The paydays that he's giving the fighters, the cards that he's putting on, we're getting the fights that we've been wanting to see, that we feel like we deserve, that the fighters deserve. And I've seen a lot of people complain the fights are happening in America, they're not happening on U.S. soil. Who's gonna make the fights over here? Who's gonna pay for these fights over here?
Yeah.
There's a reason that they're happening in Saudi Arabia. There's a reason that Turkey's heavily involved with these major fights and these major cards.
That is
Nobody
true.
else is willing to divvy up the money to make these fights and these cards happen. Instead of people complaining about it, we've been complaining for years about we're not getting the fights we want. We're not getting good cards. We're getting half-ass cards, mediocre fights. Now we're getting great fights. We're getting great cards. We're getting mega matchups, and people are still finding a reason to complain about it. There are things that we probably will delve into that he did that I'm kind of about, but for the most part, I think he's been good for the sport of boxing and the revival of the sport of boxing.
Josh?
Me personally, look, man, I ain't gonna cap. The first time I heard of Turkey Alalshikh coming into boxing, I did not think this was a good idea. I just thought American boxers going over to Saudi Arabia, a guy bringing in oil money, it just everything wasn't just a good look. But then I kind of, now that you see things and the way they've gone and the way he actually treats fighters, to be 100% honest with you, I think Turkey's a great thing for boxing. and honestly, I think he should be here to stay. Because let's be honest with you, when it comes to boxing, everybody knows the biggest lights, the biggest shows, the biggest money is in America. Everybody knows that. But the thing that's done, yeah, it's been great for boxing fans, but at the same time, it's also given a lot of promoters in America a little too much power, in a sense. And the thing is, they're all fighting, for talent. And the thing is, when you're all fighting for talent, and you're all, kind of basically sharing the same pot of fans, damn near. You know what I mean? It's just, it comes really competitive. They don't want to make fights. They don't want to, put their best guy against the other guy's best guy because they think one's going to take a hit if he takes a loss and that, loses market value. There's just a lot that goes on. But with Turkey Alalshikh coming in there, man, fighters are getting the most paydays the biggest paydays they've ever gotten. Fighters are actually, he's fighter first. Fighters are actually getting in fight. Like I said, fighters are actually fighting good fights and are on good cards, and these fighters have no problem taking these fights and taking L's because they're getting paid for it and they're not getting knocked. You know what I mean? So I personally think Turkey's great for boxing. He's come in and made big fights that most likely would have never happened, especially in America. He came and made Tyson Fury and Alexander Usyk, did that twice. Came in and made Anthony Joshua versus Dubois. Came in and made Better Be a Bivol. I mean, look at all these cards, bro. Canelo Bud. Like, look at all these. And the thing is, I'm not going to lie. Here's my biggest thing. I cannot, man, the card quality that Turkey puts on compared to these up, man, like, it's crazy. Like, here in America, you usually have, now PBC, in my opinion, has done the best on undercards. aside from Turkey. They'll usually have 1 or 2 good fights, for an interim belt or or for a championship belt or to highly rated contenders. They have no problem doing that. PBC does a good job with their undercards, but every other promotion, don't get me wrong, it's prospects, but you know what I mean? Like, it's not, it's like, not big name prospects or big names that, like not actual seasoned professionals who have names like the old days, like Don King used to do. When he would put Helio Cesar Chavez on a card, Mike Tyson on a card, all them same people. Turkey is doing that shit again, if not better, bro. You know what I mean? And like I said, this is just the start. And I think, and the thing is, he is going to do more. Bro, he's talking about doing a boxing event with Teofimo Lopez at Alcatraz. Yeah, what U.S. promoter is doing that? Yeah. You know what I mean? And like I said, these fighters are getting paid. Even fighters stepping in on late notice are getting the highest paydays of their careers. You know what I mean? And the thing I love about Turkey is he understands the situation that some of these fighters in. For example, Martin Bakoli stepped in last notice. He let Bakoli know, if you lose this fight, don't worry about it. I'm gonna give you a couple more opportunities later on down the line. And he's already being booked for a big fight in May. You know what I mean? So it's like these fighters, when they take these opportunities, because honestly, in the U.S., if you have a U.S. promoter, bro, and you take a big fight and you lose leverage. You know what I mean? And it's like a TV promotion has to, promotion and TV execs have to put money into you to build you back up again. Mm-hmm. Not a lot of promoters want to do that when you lose your belt. Mm-hmm. In case in point, Subriel Matias. I think Subriel Matias should be fighting regularly on like national TV against high level opponents like Teofimo Lopez, but lost his belt, lost his leverage. And what did Matchroom do? They just signed him again. They dropped him. Mm-hmm. So I like the way Turkey's doing things. Fighters that take a loss, like it's not a big deal. You know what I mean? Look at Jarrell Miller. Jarrell Miller revived his career with Turki Alalshikh. Even though he's been losing fights and got a draw against Andy Ruiz, he's still been fighting pretty well on Turki Alalshikh's cards and be getting paid the highest he ever did in his career. When before that, he was on the bench. You know what I mean? With the PED allegations and shit. So,
yeah. I mean, for me, I think Turkey's good for the sport because, number one, he's been able to make fights that involve all the promotion companies. So just looking at the last crescendo card
that's a great point.
Yesterday, all of the major players were involved in the Matchroom.
Top Rank, Golden Boy, Matchroom, and even Frank Warren Promotions.
Queensberry. Yeah,
Queensberry.
They were all involved in that card. All have fighters being represented on the card.
That's a great point.
I have to combat a couple things you said. Number one, I think Turkey is fan first, fighter second, because he's putting together the fights that the fans want to see. Because I think he's just a fan of boxing.
Absolutely.
He's just a fan with some money. But so he makes these big fights that the fans want to see. And then he also takes care of the fighters monetarily in the process of doing it. So, yeah, like you said, Bakoli, the show must go on from Turkey's standpoint. You know, Dubois got sick. Parker still has to have a great opponent. Boom, I'm going to put Bakoli in here and take care of him monetarily, give him $900 or whatever he gave him. And then promise him, some more opportunities. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to hold this loss over your head because I know you coming from Congo with no
camp.
No prep.
Nigga came out what it is.
Zero prep.
Cold turkey.
He wouldn't even have to wait, bro. The weigh-ins are a day before the fight. He couldn't even join the weigh-ins because he just got in.
But I want to combat also one other point because the problem is, and this is going towards the sense of entitlement from American fans, when it comes to boxing, the biggest shows are not in America. Last year, the biggest show in boxing was Dubois versus Anthony Joshua in Wembley Stadium with 100,000. When's the last time somebody did 100,000 for a boxing match on U.S. soil? Don't worry, I'll wait.
To be completely honest with you, England fans overseas and in England are honestly better boxing.
They're much better. They're much more intense, much more lively boxing fans. So for American fans to sit up here
even mediocre
and say,
like club level fighters feel like famous because how much they love that sport.
For American boxing fans to sit up here and say, "Oh, these Riyadh season cards needs to be in America." They did one with the Crawford Madrimov fight, and it was a solid turnout, but that wasn't the most exciting crowd that we've seen. No. You know what I'm saying? So when he did bring it to LA for that card, which was a great card as well, the crowd wasn't as rabid as you guys think that the American fans are. Right. It's much more exciting overseas, specifically in the markets like the UK, even in Saudi. Now, the production value on the television, are you able to hear the crowd noise as much? Maybe not. But those fans are much more engaged than some of these ones that we have here in America. We just was at a fight 2 weekends ago in Las Vegas. Yeah, the crowd was good, but they were also very, very quiet in some of the more technical boxing matches. For Stephen Fulton's match versus Brandon Figueroa,
honestly,
the crowd was dead silent.
Honestly, bro, even the Isaac Pitbull Cruz versus Angel Fierro fight, they were going back and forth, and they were only cheering for like Isaac Cruz. Like, it was crazy.
I don't think we're in a position to sit up here and act like America deserves all of the biggest boxing matches just because you're used to seeing people at the MGM Grand.
Honestly, I'm sorry, America. These promoters need this kind of kick in the butt. They need the competition.
They do.
But also, let me because there was only 2 American fighters on this card,
Right.
and that's Virgil Ortiz and Shakur Stevenson. The headliners are both Russian. The co-headliners are not American. What are we asking for this fight to be on American soil for?
Exactly.
Who is gonna, like Kane said too? No one is paying for this card in America.
Nobody.
If you do make a card like this, the prices to get in and the pay-per-view prices are going to be astronomical, so it's going to get bootlegged.
First and foremost, you wouldn't see more than two of these fighters on the same night.
Right.
Yeah.
They're all main event. Every fight on that card was main event worthy.
So at the same time,
crazy.
as Turkey is doing great things for boxing, we cannot let him off the hook for the fuck shit he did the other day or yesterday too. Now, let's talk about what happened in the Hamza Shiraz versus Carlos Adames fight, who I feel like Carlos Adames won that fight relatively clearly, but with Hamza being kind of the hometown, clearly the hometown actually after what we're about to talk about, the judges called it a draw. Turkey, being someone involved in the promotion of putting on the card, went up in between, I think, rounds 9 and 10 to Hamza's corner and let his corner know, hey, he's down 2 rounds. Make sure he's aware of that. That's something that we can't just excuse.
From a promoter or somebody.
Because you're doing all this good shit and putting all these good fights, you still can't put yourself out there and do some shit like that where it's like you're clearly, you know what I'm saying, trying to get your hometown fighter in the mindset to, hey, you got to make like, that's not your job.
It's not at all.
You know, so
you can't do that, bro.
What's y'all take on that?
Now, obviously, that you can't do that. No matter who you are, and a lot of people are going to come back to Turkey's defense and say Floyd did that with Gervonta Davis. That was an unofficial scorecard. Floyd Mayweather went to Gervonta Davis during the Mario Barrios fight and just said, you're down 2 points unofficially on the unofficial scorecard, well, which was a scorecard that everybody watching the telecast can see.
Right.
That was that's no secret. A lot of corners actually have people watching the telecast to let them know what do you think these judges are looking at? How's it looking? That they do that for information, but to actually go to a fighter and tell them you're down 2 rounds on the actual official scorecard, that is crazy. That's damn near, ladies and gentlemen, that's damn near cheating in a sense. If you really and that's crazy because I personally had it Carlos Adames 7-5. 7 rounds to 5. The fact that they gave Hamza Shiraz a draw, I'm not gonna say the bout was a draw. They gave Hamza Shiraz a draw. They gave him a draw instead of a loss. So honestly, to me personally, that's the only kind of suspicious card I've seen so far. Like everything else has been,
and boxing we see suspicious scoring all the time. That was technically the only one from this event. But we see them pretty much once an event, something that's off. But it's just the fact that Turkey clearly had a hand in it is kind of crazy.
Yeah, for me, it was out of line, bro. It was completely.
It's completely out of line.
Out of order. It is almost. It's. You can almost call it. It's unethical, bro. Like for you to be a promoter, for you to be the one divvying out.
That's very unethical.
The money, putting these cards together to go get the official scorecard and let a fighter know that's a hometown kid, pretty much that you're down 2 rounds is not something you do, bro. It's out of line. It's completely out of line.
I think it's important for Turkey to see how he responds to this because he's going to receive backlash. Now, is he just going to flex his power? Well, it's my shit. I could do what I want. Or is he going to say, you right, I'm still new to the game.
I personally think,
fucked up and I'm not.
No, because I actually seen Turkey admit a mistake. Remember the Serhii Bohuchuk? He kicked Serhii Bohuchuk off the thing, and he basically, and then he had to go. He had to go over there and apologize because he didn't know who Serhii is.
Yeah.
And then immediately after that, place Serhii on his card.
Yeah. So I mean, if he corrects it, he's still young in the game. As long as he respond how he need to respond, he'll be all right. But he can't do no shit like that.
And respectfully, let's be honest, y'all. What do a lot of people with money do? They do things that they think they can get away with. You know what I mean? That's just the entitlement sometimes money brings. So.
But
I think he'll be. I truly
I don't see
think
him
and
doing it
hope.
again,
I hope
hopefully.
somebody above him or somebody at his level can correct him and let him know, like, you can't do this.
Right,
This
right.
looks terrible. Like, this makes us look like cheaters, damn near.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
can't.
I mean,
do
it's
something
got to
like
be
that.
I mean, I feel like the promoters he's working with, Eddie Hearn,
Oh,
those guys got to say something.
I take that back. You know, Al Heyman gonna give him a
Yeah,
call.
somebody
Oh,
got to
for
say
sure.
something. Look, hey, you can't do that shit.
Al
bro.
You
Heyman
can't do
calling.
that. You can't do that again, bro.
But I want to talk about another thing related to Turkey because, you know, with the people getting sick on this card, not Bacoli, Floyd Schofield and Daniel Dubois both came down sick. There's some rumblings saying that Madrimov was even a little bit sick coming into the fight, and you had last minute replacements come in because like I said, Turkey's in the looks at it as the show must go on. He still wants to give off this big card, these big fights to the fans. Some people are having backlash to the fighters that are stepping up, you know, Bacoli specifically, because he's kind of been in a position of he's becoming a boogeyman in the heavyweight division, and him stepping up. And I seen Jake Paul talk bad about it, like he credited, you know, show his courage, but also like condemned his advisors for letting him take the fight.
I did see that.
Some people also just fan wise out there saying that, you know, people are kind of slaving themselves out to Turkey for a check because, you know, putting off their long term goals or career, messing up their long-term career trajectory to take a quick check in a situation like this. What y'all take on that? Like, how do y'all see that?
I think it's a wonderful thing. I really do. And here's the thing. This has always been a part of boxing. So, and the thing is, it don't get me wrong. The odds against you are very, very high if you take something like that to win. But there have been plenty of that's how Manny Pacquiao got seen on the national stage. Took a last minute fight 4 or 5 days before and blasted some South African kid that was a champion. You got to like this. Yeah, I mean, taking it against Shakur Stevenson, you know, obviously you're pretty much coming there for the check. But you got to realize, at the end of the day, I'll give you an example. What was his name? Josh Paddy? He had never made anywhere near close to it.
Yeah, Padley. Yeah.
Josh Padley never made anywhere near half. Like literally, Eddie Hearn said he had never made anywhere near half of what Turkey.
And they gave him a house.
And the thing is, you got to realize, if you take a last minute fight with Turki Alalshikh, you know you're gonna be taken care of monetarily, and he's gonna give you another opportunity. And that's the thing where it's just like, in the past, you would get maybe $100,000 depending on who you were as a backup fighter. You know what I mean? Because the thing is, obviously, you know, these promotions, they don't have the money to bring in bigger people, you know, highly ranked people. You know, but when you got Turki Alalshikh money and he's offering it, I think it's a wonderful thing. Like, the dude was just doing construction work or installing solar panels. And now he got paid $500,000 plus and got his life changed because he took a fight on a 2-3 day notice that Turki Alalshikh in the world knows he took on a 2 or 3 day notice, and he's actually getting a lot more props for what he's done. I haven't seen anybody knock him for getting KO'd.
No, they're not really knocking him. It's more Bacoli they knocking because, you know, he's a bit of a higher stature than Padley.
I don't think that's a bad situation either, in my opinion, because the thing is, Bacoli got paid $900,000 plus. And the thing is, like, Turkey told him, I'm going to give you a couple more opportunities because of this. So it's like, it's still an opportunity. Yeah, you may not be in shape. Yeah, you may not be able to take the kind of punches you would take. You know, yeah, it's not the same. You know what I mean? But a 900 mil check, knowing that you got a few more checks coming on the way, guaranteed, when you're going to fight for less than half of that and didn't know if you had another fight guaranteed, I'm taking that. I'm sorry, bro. I'm taking a guaranteed high check and a guaranteed couple more opportunities with Turki Alalshikh. And I know he keeps his word. So, like that, you got to realize, compared to the past, that's great for fighters stepping in. That's a guarantee.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all for it, man. Like, you know, kudos to Turkey for being a man of his word when it comes to the fighters and providing them with opportunities. And kudos to the fighters for willing to step up and take on that challenge of being a replacement fighter, a couple of days notice, getting a big paycheck for it, you know, and but like also just not being afraid to take those L's. Like I'm happy that we're in a place, or it seems that we're in a place with boxing where the L's are not holding as much weight as they once
Absolutely.
did. You know, I've ranted about that 1,000 times before about everybody trying to protect. They so hard to protect their win-loss record, as you should to an extent, but also not being afraid to take that L, knowing that they'll still have another opportunity after that. That's not the end of their career. They're not dead and buried at that point.
Absolutely. And let me just point this out, man. If you wanna see how the fighters feel about it,
Right.
Martin Bacoli was up buying Gucci. He was at the mall. He got paid more than he ever been paid. And the thing is, you got to realize that $900K, you take that to Congo.
Yeah.
Whoo!
Yeah,
Martin Bacoli hit gold.
That stretched a long way out there.
Martin Bacoli was doing interviews at the mall with Gucci on, and he was happy. I bet he happy.
He said he really sat up there and fought for 5 minutes.
Josh
and got
Padley,
$900K.
Josh Padley was in his locker room, freshly knocked out. It was a great experience for me. Niggas got paid. This is prize fighting. You got to realize at the end of the day, they got paid the highest they may ever get paid in their career, and they got guaranteed 1 or 2 fights. What boxer wouldn't want that?
No, that's a fact.
Yeah, I mean, it's a win-win in my opinion. So
think about it. You got called 2 days before the fight. You want to come here for $900,000? Yeah.
And they'll be back again. So, yeah. Overall, I think, like we said, I think we're in agreement. Turkey's good for the sport, but he do need to just tighten it up a little bit. But he's doing all right. And he did take some feedback. There was no concert at this card.
Yes.
Everybody asked for him to stop the concert.
That's a great point. Now, you notice Turkey can take constructive criticism.
He can. He has shown the ability to take constructive criticism.
Now, Turkey better show his humbleness when it comes to what he did with Hamza Shiraz.
No, that's a fact.
And the thing is, I actually like about Hamza Shiraz, I feel like Hamza turned around, saw Turkey, and turned his head right back around because he knew, like, what you doing? What are you doing?
Why did Turkey send somebody else?
Yeah, like why did he?
All them niggas dressed up just like him. He could have sent one. Why didn't he send one of them over there to say that shit? That nigga is slipping.
Malik, because what Malik doesn't understand is, man,
he don't sit next to 5, 6 niggas dressed just like
He
him.
could have said another nigga that looked like him with sunglasses on.
Ladies and gentlemen, when man fights man, and you get enthralled, your emotions and your spirit get involved.
Oh my God, bro.
Turki Alalshikh couldn't control himself. And this is what happens in the sport of boxing.
All right, we're going to wrap this segment up. We'll be back with another one in a minute. Inside the Chamber of Truth.